Today we are painting this Fomorian Sentinel. It's time to go to my wall of shame to find some inspiration. I need something with a lot of armor, so I decided to grab this thing. The main colors I want to take from this are mainly from the armor. It kind of looks darker with a little hint of blue, maybe some purple in there. There's also these red highlights that I'd also want to incorporate into my paint job. To mimic the armor color, I started with some brushed metal, added a little bit of metallic blue, and a slight dash of purple. Oh, no. Finding out the name of this creature was a bit of a hassle because literally I had next to nothing to go on. So what I ended up doing was I took a picture with my phone and reverse image searched it. That brought me to a website in Latvia about board games, and I was able to translate the page, and that brought me to the name of the board game. And I looked up all the creatures in the board game, still couldn't find it. Had to go back to that Latvian website, found out that it is an expansion to that original board game, and was able to Google that expansion to find out the name of this creature. After that, I looked up what a Fomorian was. Apparently, it is a creature from Irish mythology. Basically, they're giant oceanic sea raiders, roughly, or demons. You know, pick one. I wasn't sure where the armor started and the body began on some parts of this because this thing looks like some weird Davy Jones locker homunculus thing. So I just kind of winged it. For the skin, I originally chose a shiny blue because I wanted to give it a nice, I don't know, fishy sea theme. But then I was like, this looks kind of shit, and I didn't want to stray too far from my original color palette, so I decided to change that up and go with red, because he does have crab claws coming out of his shoulders, and I'm like, yeah, those are usually red, I think. The shield is a much more colorful part of this piece. I wanted to go with a kind of Roman centurion look for the shield, so I did a nice tan and a red spot in the center of that. It's also encrusted in some seaweed and some barnacles, so I painted those up with the usual colors of white and green. The seaweed took a little experimentation because the first part when I painted it, I was like, this looks a little too bright and shiny. Let me darken this up. So I repainted that, and this is the result. I have a bright orange wash from one of my previous failures that I used to brighten up the bottom of the crab claws to give it that counter shading. This guy had a nice fancy octopus belt that I wanted to give it a nice interesting color. So I mixed metallic blue, silver, and gold, and what I ended up with was gold. The rest of the paint job was mainly getting brown on all of his belts and then touching up little areas all over the figure because there was just a lot of little details on this guy. His spear has a slight bend in it, but I hear that's actually pretty normal.